966.
Oil prices are surging. Will that derail reforms in the oil exporting Middle East? A recent piece in HellenicShippingNews.com wonders, in March, Iraq's oil exports were worth just over $11 billion, the most the country has earned for oil in a month since 1972. Obviously, Iraq can afford to pay for all of its bills this month and the next, but what does that mean for reforms planned before these price rises? Is there even any point to them anymore? Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia's energy minister blames the lack of investment for the recent surge in fuel prices. The prince, speaking at an aviation summit in Riyadh, said the world needed to look at energy security, sustainability, and affordability as a whole.
So that Hellenic Shipping News article was interesting. It really looked at Iraq and what we just referenced, commodity supercycle, and all these revenues, elevated revenues that oil producing and exporting countries are enjoying at the moment. And it's a sort of an age-old question in the region. It's when they have money, they don't reform. When they don't have money, they feel they need to reform, and they start on reforms. And then when they get money, the reforms wither away. This is a specific concern to Iraq. And I think it's still a concern to Iraq, but that's in part because of the way it's governed, the coalition government, especially one that's sort of highly competitive at the moment and unsettled. You never know what increased revenues are going to do or go. It's very hard to maintain discipline. Vis-a-vis Saudi Arabia, and we talked about the non-oil income on one. This is one of the things that I am most hopeful about Vision 30, and that is the fiscal discipline. and specifically in last November, Moody's upgraded Saudi's outlook, government outlook, to stable, to A1. In April, Fitch essentially did the same thing to outlook to this positive. It's firms that it's A, that's what's his ranking. In both cases, they cited the fiscal discipline. They said, oil prices are up. A lot of things are humming along, but they took a note to specifically applaud and commend and highlight the fiscal discipline, because Saudi Arabia is not spending more money. It'll have, it's expecting that it's not changing its long-term budget plans because it's got more money, which is a departure in many ways from a lot of other oil-producing countries in the past. And that's rating organizations are recognizing that private sector is understanding it. They can look and they can project better. It's just this fiscal balance program and the fiscal sustainability program that as part of Vision 2030 is a hidden hero, because it's infusing, it's demanding discipline and long-term planning from the government on its spending, which is huge.
Yeah, this piece in Hellenic Shipping News quotes our homie, Robert Mogilnicki, who was actually on this program a few months ago, sort of discussing what you discussed. Higher prices, what it will do, he says, is make it easier to carry out reforms, which he argued won't be abandoned. There's no doubt we're moving forward toward a greener future. It's just unclear when that's going to happen. That's why states are making a huge push to forge into new energy markets such as hydrogen. It's not going to stop them from making reforms. It's just going to help them buy time and make it easier to do that and invest in these reforms, as you just mentioned. So very interesting. Check out that article. It is on our website, sustd.com, and we'll put it on the 966podcast.com as well.
But
Good
just
stuff.
to close that thought, historically, when you've got a patriarchal, stovepiped government, in other words, where, 10 years ago, you had any number of power centers, all of whom these, the resident ministers or princes would get their part of a windfall, and the government was employing 85 to 90% of the population. If times were good, they got a raise, they got a holiday bonus. All that's gone. Mm-hmm. You don't have those sort of unexpected, unscripted bounces. As a matter of fact, I was kind of surprised, and it's I think it's telling. That over Ramadan, King Salman ordered $2 billion Saudi Riyal payments to citizens' bank accounts, and they're for widows, orphans, unemployed, elderly. And it was a generous, gesture on the part of the season. And two billion Saudi riyals is about $500 million. They have that. But you used to see this all the time. Sort of just off budget things, and you don't when times are good. You don't see that. I think this is a lovely gesture, and King Salman is a very well-meaning, generous person. But this is actually now the exception, no longer the rule.